Today story is
Sleepless in Metropolis.
okay, here we go.
It was a very quiet night in Tucson on April 7th, 2000. The moon was high and the stars were bright. Inside an apartment at 3730 North Oracle Road, Grandpa was resting. He was a very happy man with a big, friendly smile. He wore a bright yellow t-shirt and green pants. Suddenly, he heard a very loud knock on his wooden door. Grandpa walked over and pulled the heavy door open. Standing there was Imani. She was a teenager with a gigantic, beautiful afro and bright red lips. She wore a green t-shirt and black pants. She looked very excited to be there, even though it was already 9:30 p.m. "Surprise, Grandpa," she said with a big wave. Grandpa let out a booming, friendly laugh. "What are you doing here so late, Imani?" he asked, stepping back to let her in. He was so happy to see her that his eyes twinkled behind his glasses. Imani stepped onto the welcome mat, ready for a very long and very fun night. But Imani was not alone. Her best friend Susie was right behind her. Susie had bright red hair and was dressed in a black t-shirt and yellow pants. She wasn't thinking about sleep at all. In fact, she was clutching a big, brown rubber basketball under her arm as if she was ready for a game right then and there. Then came Sarah, their other best friend. Sarah had blonde hair and wore purple glasses that made her eyes look very big and smart. She wore a yellow t-shirt and held a bright green toothbrush upright like a tiny flag. "I'm ready for the sleepover," Sarah chirped, bouncing on her heels. The three girls stepped into the apartment. It was filled with warm light and the smell of old books. Imani looked at the clock and then at her friends. "It is late," she said. "If we are going to have an adventure, we have to follow the rules of the house. First things first, we need our pajamas." Susie and Sarah giggled and ran toward the back of the apartment. They had brought their bags and were ready to get cozy. "I bet I can change faster than you," Susie shouted as she disappeared into the guest room. Sarah laughed and followed her, still holding her green toothbrush. A few minutes later, Imani emerged from her room. She looked very different now. She had changed out of her green shirt and black pants. Now, she was wearing a favorite set of fuzzy red pajamas. She even had matching red slippers on her feet that looked like little clouds. Susie came out next. She had traded her yellow pants for bright yellow pajama bottoms and a matching yellow top. She was still carrying her basketball, though. She did a little dance in the hallway. "Yellow is the best color for a midnight party," she declared. Finally, Sarah appeared. She looked very stylish in her royal purple pajamas. Her purple glasses matched her outfit perfectly. She had finally put her green toothbrush away, but she looked like she was ready for any adventure that might come their way. Suddenly, the front door swung open again. Imani's dad, Jack, stepped inside with a huge grin. He had a gigantic afro, just like Imani's. He was wearing a green t-shirt, blue jeans, and very shiny red boots. "I have a great idea," Jack shouted, his voice filling the room with excitement. The girls gathered around him. "What's the idea, Dad?" Imani asked, her eyes wide. Jack leaned in and whispered, "Why don't we all take a trip tonight? Let's drive to Metropolis and visit your older sister, Francine." Sarah adjusted her glasses, her heart racing at the thought of a midnight road trip. "But we can't go alone," Dad said. They headed into the back bedroom, where a very special member of the family lived. Resting in the corner was Sammy, a friendly gray robot with round green lights on his chest. Dad reached out and patted Sammy on his smooth, metallic shoulder. Sammy's metal joints whirred and clicked as he woke up. "Hello, Jack," Sammy said in a cheerful, metallic voice. His sensors scanned the room and saw the girls in their pajamas. Are we going on a mission? Sammy asked. He looked very helpful and very ready to go. While Dad and Sammy were getting things ready, Imani and Susie found a big pile of white pillows. Pillow fight? Imani yelled. She grabbed a soft pillow and swung it toward Susie. Susie ducked and laughed, using her yellow pajama sleeve to wipe her forehead. Sarah joined in too. She used a pillow as a shield while Susie tried to bunk her with a soft cushion. Feathers began to float through the air like tiny snowflakes. The girls were jumping on the beds and hiding behind the long curtains, laughing until their sides hurt. After the pillow fight, everyone was a little bit tired and a whole lot of hungry. Imani sat down on the floor and sighed. "Playing is hard work," she said. "I think my tummy is growling louder than Sammy's motor." Her friends agreed. They definitely needed a snack. Dad noticed the hungry faces and pulled a turquoise telephone from the kitchen wall. He knew exactly what to do. He dialed the number for the best pizza shop in Tucson. "We need one large pizza," he told the person on the phone. "And make it a supreme. Load it with everything you have." Sarah watched him intently, hoping the pizza would arrive soon. She could almost taste the melted cheese and the spicy pepperoni. "Do you think they can deliver it in 5 minutes?" she asked. Dad laughed and told her they would have to be just a little bit patient. Ding dong. The doorbell rang. Everyone rushed to the kitchen table as the box was opened. The smell of toasted crust and green peppers filled the room. Imani grabbed a slice, and the cheese stretched out in a long, gooey string. Susie took a giant bite, declaring it the best pizza ever. Grandpa was enjoying the pizza too, but then a disaster happened. A big, loaded slice slipped from his hand and landed right on the rug. Without missing a beat, Grandpa leaned down, picked it up, and took a big bite. "Floor pizza," he chuckled. "It's the secret ingredient." Now that their tummies were full, it was time to go. They all piled into the car they called the Lightning McQueen Mobile. Dad took the steering wheel, and Sammy sat in the back, holding a large paper map. "Metropolis, here we come," Dad shouted as they pulled out onto the dark Tucson streets. After a long drive, they reached the tall buildings of Metropolis. Standing outside a beautiful house was Francine, Imani's older sister. She had a magnificent afro and was wearing a white t-shirt and red pants. Beside her was Vincent, her loyal robot dog, who wagged his metal tail with a loud clank. In all the excitement of saying hello, Vincent the robot dog got a little too playful. He jumped up and accidentally nipped Imani's leg. "Ouch!" Imani cried. Vincent felt very bad and tucked his metal tail between his legs. Imani looked down at the small mark and frowned. Francine acted quickly. She took Imani inside and put some healing cream and a neat white bandage on her leg. "There, all better," Francine said with a hug. Before they had to drive back to Tucson, Vincent got a treat too, the very last slice of supreme pizza. Everyone smiled as the robot dog munched happily on his snack.
The end.